In the mystical confines of the Twilight Tavern, nestled within its own pocket dimension where perpetual twilight reigns, a select few embark on extraordinary journeys. Chosen from among adventurers, these individuals form an elite group known as the Travelers. Tasked by the enigmatic Weavers, powerful beings with the ability to manipulate the very essence of time and space, these chosen ones traverse the planes to right wrongs, seek adventure and treasure, and met out justice across the diverse realms. At the heart of the Twilight Tavern lies a giant fireplace, not just a source of warmth and light, but a portal to uncharted dimensions. As the flames dance, so too do the destinies of the travelers unfold, connecting them to realms beyond imagination. The Twilight Tavern stands as a gateway to worlds upon worlds, where the courageous few venture forth into the unknown, guided by the Weaver's threads of fate.
Welcome everyone to the Tales of Twilight Tavern. The first question we should probably address is, what is the Tales of Twilight Tavern? Well, it is a format that we have created for organized play of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It is a system that we have created simply to make it easy for DMs to DM and easy for players to play. Adventures are self-contained, meaning no recaps needed, and you can just dive right into an adventure. All right, so next let's dive into the narrative of Twilight Tavern. In the Tales of Twilight Tavern, you are a traveler, an adventurer chosen to join an elite group of realm-traversing heroes. In the world of Twilight Tavern, there are infinite realms, and our dungeon masters, who we refer to as Weavers, are powerful beings able to bend the fabric of space and time. The tavern itself serves as the player's home base, with adventures being made up of self-contained stories and narratives. We felt like that it was important for the players to have some sort of continuity and somewhere to call home. The Twilight Tavern exists in a realm where it is eternally twilight in its own pocket dimension. In Twilight Tavern, you will be able to purchase magic items and potions and meet cool NPCs, as well as perhaps just enjoy a pint. So now that we have a little bit of the narrative behind the project, let's kind of talk about what it does for the kind of logistical side of it. The reasoning behind the Twilight Tavern approach is that we wanted a system where DMs, dungeon masters, or what we call Weavers, could run an adventure from any setting that they so chose. We wanted them to be able to create their own adventure, or we wanted them to be able to perhaps find a published adventure online or one that they already know and are familiar with. We wanted our DMs to essentially not be confined by a particular setting or a particular existing storyline that they had to run their games in. We wanted a system where players didn't have to already have knowledge of a storyline that's been going on for weeks or months even to be able to jump in and know what's going on. We wanted a system where it was just super easy for us to tell any story that we wanted to tell in any style and have it all fit. And Twilight Tavern makes that possible because Twilight Tavern takes place in a world where there are infinite realms. And our Weavers, who are our dungeon masters, those who are running our game, they have the ability to send our heroes, our players, our adventurers to these infinite and various realms, And so it makes sense as to why you might have your hero take part in a very typical fantasy Dungeons and Dragons game 1 week, and then perhaps a month later take part in a horror, grim, dark setting type of a game. And then perhaps the adventure after that, you might take your character to an adventure that is more quirky and lighthearted and fun. And all these adventures make sense in the context of our Twilight Tavern's Infinite Realms approach. And so that is partly and the main reason really why we went with this style. So now that we've established that adventures are mostly self-contained, we should probably discuss what do you get to, kind of keep. We talked about maybe a sense of continuity, and that is your character. Your character stays with you. You will be going to different games, different adventures, and gaining experience and leveling up your character and acquiring gold and acquiring items and fun magic items and all sorts. And those things will stay with you. You will get to keep anything you find on an adventure, and it will stay with your character. Okay, so for the kind of main logistics of what we're going to be using for this project, the kind of main two things you need to know is that we're going to use 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. There will be more about that coming up. And the second thing is our home base is going to be Discord. It's going to have all the stuff you're going to need to know on it. It's going to have lots of resources on it. It's going to have all the adventures. It's going to have profiles for every player and their characters. And it's really just going to serve as our kind of home for the project and our means of communication, for sharing things, for talking about games, for sharing fun moments from games and adventures. And so with that being said, Discord is going to be a must if you are interested in joining the Tales of Twilight Tavern. Okay, so before I go any further, I wanted to kind of discuss what our goals are with the Tales of Twilight Tavern. We are looking to create a community. First and foremost, that is the goal. We want to create this tight-knit community that gets together and plays D&D and has pizza, drinks beer, rolls some dice, has some great times, and has epic stories to tell at the end of the night. I've been fortunate enough to be in a very regular Dungeons & Dragons group on Monday nights for the past 5, 6, 7 years maybe at this point. I'm not really sure. And we've all realized over the years how kind of lucky we are to have this very regular game where we get together and play every week. But throughout the years, we've had so many friends and contacts and coworkers who have found out about our weekly game and have been so interested, and it's just a really difficult thing to kind of incorporate into an ongoing campaign. And so we've wanted to find a way to get to play this game that we all love so much with more people and play with our friends, and maybe even more importantly, make new friends. And it is something that we have just such high hopes for, and we cannot express, if you are on the fence about getting into this hobby, just how rewarding it can be and how much fun it is. And we really think it's going to be just something really cool to be a part of. Okay, so if you're still here, next part, how do you get started? If you said, all right, you sold me, I'm in, what do I do? First thing is you're going to want to head over to Discord. However you got your reference or invite, or maybe you're here from the very beginning. head over there and get yourself situated. I will have a little kind of video help coming out on how to kind of navigate Discord and what's what. And if you're familiar with how to use Discord, that's great. And the next thing is, well, make a character so that you can hop in. And if you're already familiar with 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons and how to make a character, that's great, although we do have a couple little rules I'll get to here in a second. If you don't know anything about D&D or you're brand new, we're going to have lots of resources for you that I will address later in this video. But here are our rules for making a character for the Tales of Twilight Tavern. For stat generation, we will be using either point buy or standard array. That's your choice. And as far as character options for feats or subclasses, etc., we are going to be using PHB +1, which is a way of saying the player's handbook and one other published book from Wizards of the Coast for 5th edition. So for example, you can use the player's handbook, and you can use like Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, or Xanathar's Guide to Everything, or any other, Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, or any of those things for your other options. Okay, so I just want to give a quick kind of example breakdown of how this will all work from like a actual kind of roadmap perspective. So after you've made your character, you've got everything ready to go, you're gonna be able to hop into Discord. In Discord, you'll be able to look at a few things. You can look at the adventures section and browse for an adventure that looks good to you. Maybe you find one that fits your character's level, and you're like, I want to do this thing. You can head over to the looking for a group section and kind of make your pitch. Hey, I am looking for a few people to join me do this. Or maybe as you're browsing looking for group section, sorry, motorcycle going by. You find a couple players looking for one more for another adventure, and then you maybe go back and look at that adventure and be like, hey, that looks good too. I'm going to join in that group. And so once you have your group, you have the players you're going to be playing with, and the DM who runs the adventure that you have chosen. You'll kind of be able to form your own little small group within the Discord, and that's where you'll be able to schedule your game. And with the system we've chosen, and this is part of why we chose it, is the flexibility. You can decide to play on whatever night works for your group. With normal campaigns and stuff, it usually, on a regular night, like my group plays every Monday night. And so if someone wanted to join our campaign for whatever reason and they were busy on Monday nights, it's like you're kind of out of luck. But with this format, once you've established your group, you can kind of choose when you're going to play and how often you're going to play. Maybe the adventure you've chosen is a 3-part adventure, and you're going to play the first night on a Tuesday, and maybe this date 3 weeks later works for you guys. It's whatever works for your group. And that's why we have so much hope that it's going to work out from a scheduling perspective, is that the flexibility of every group kind of being able to figure out when works for them. And we also will have a questionnaire that each player will have for their profile, kind of about when they are available, what nights, etc. So maybe if you're looking for a group and you're kind of looking for some people to play with, and maybe your really only night to play is on Thursday nights or something, and some of the players you're looking at, maybe one of them is never available Thursday nights, maybe that's not someone who's going to be in your group. So once you've established your time and you're figured out with your group when you're playing, then you go ahead and figure out where and when and dive in and have an adventure. Okay, so for the next section, we'll be talking about events. As I mentioned earlier, Community is one of the biggest goals for this project. And so while you will be able to kind of have your own groups, and those groups will change, the players will change, the DM will change, or the Weaver or the Traveler will change for every adventure. We do want to have events where the whole group or whoever can make it gets together. And we have some plans in the works. One of our kind of people behind the scenes in creating this thing has a contact with, say, like a cabin, and so we have plans and some hopes to like be able to do like a cabin D&D Twilight Tavern weekend where you select people who are going to come. There's some adventures, and they'll take course over a few days at a cabin, and in between, obviously, having lots of fun and hanging out with your fellow players. But depending on when you're watching this video, the first event that we're going to be having is on March 2nd of 2024. It's going to be our kickoff event. It will be taking place most likely at where I am right now. For those of you familiar, at my parents' place, where my group plays every Monday night. And we are going to be having several DMs running the same adventure. And so we are going to be, we're not sure how many tables. It depends on how many people we have. So if you're watching this after March 2nd, 2024, you can skip to the next section. But if you are watching this as it kind of comes out, go ahead and save that date. We'll be sending out an invite and an RSVP for that. And we are not sure entirely on time yet because of how many players we might have or we might not have. We're kind of leaning towards right now of running it in 2 different sessions, being probably somewhat earlier in the afternoon on that Saturday, and then again later in the evening with maybe like a time to hang out and have some pizza in between. So in between now and then, there will be some more videos coming out with stuff, but that is going to be our kickoff event, March 2nd, where we will be running a one-shot that will be self-contained that evening. But if you're watching this after, then keep an eye on the event section because there will be hopefully many more to come and look forward to. All right, so real quick, when you join, I want to talk about just the questionnaire that is going to be sent to you, just so we can get a little bit of information. The first question is going to be about kind of the experience that you have playing tabletop role-playing games or Dungeons & Dragons. And also, if you are interested in a learner workshop or kind of a learn-to-play evening, that will probably be hosted by myself or perhaps one of my fellow creators or weavers. And that will be just a night where we kind of just teach people how to play. A big part of this project is kind of trying to bring new people into the hobby. And it can be a lot for people who are new to kind of take in at once. 5th edition D&D isn't super complex, but it is what I call very front-loaded in that you kind of need to know a large percentage of the rules and mechanics kind of in the beginning, and that can be a little overwhelming and can turn some people off. So we are going to be having hopefully some workshop learn to play nights where we teach people how to play. And if you're interested in that, go ahead and make sure you mark that on your questionnaire. The next part is kind of your favorite elements of tabletop games. Different weavers or dungeon masters like to run different types of games. Like myself, I like to run what I call kind of considered balanced games where there's some combat, there's some role-playing and social encounters, there's some exploration, there's some puzzles. I kind of like my D&D with a bit of everything. Some other DMs or weavers like to run very RP social games, or maybe you don't even fight anyone, or maybe you're exploring and you are not really fighting monsters, but kind of maybe battling against the elements and trying to survive. There's lots of different ways to play D&D and Dungeons and Dragons, and so we want to kind of get a little bit of insight into maybe what interests you, and so perhaps we know what kind of games you're interested in playing in. Another one that's pretty logistical is the frequency of play that you're interested in. This is mostly for kind of matching groups. If we have, say, 8 players that want to play a particular adventure, and maybe half of them are looking to maybe play a couple times a month or ish, and the other half are maybe only want to play once a month, well, we can kind of hopefully kind of group those people by kind of how frequently they want to play, because we don't want anyone feeling bad because their group wants to play every other week for this particular adventure and you just can't make that happen with your schedule. That way you're kind of grouped up with like-minded people in that sense. And the same thing with your availability as far as like what nights of the week. You're probably not going to want to group up with too many people that have conflicting schedules. So if we can get just a generic idea, that will be very helpful. And then just for some contact information, whatever you're comfortable with, if you only want to be on Discord and you don't want anyone to have your phone number or your email or whatever, that's fine. So for that question, just whatever you're comfortable with. And lastly, and something that's kind of, I think, very important, is the community is going to be better with the more people we have creating. Me and a few people from my group, Lucas and Bob and Thomas, Barrett, we run games. We've run games in the past. We're very familiar with it. But part of the reason we created this group is because I want to play in maybe your game, whoever's watching this. We don't know what ideas and adventures and epic characters and NPCs might be in your head or whoever's head. And we would love to get to partake in all of your different games. And so if you're interested in learning how to run, or maybe you already know how to run and are interested in running some adventures in this system, we would love to know that. One of my favorite parts about the format that we chose here is that content is repeatable. If you create an adventure, say it's a 3-part adventure, you can have a group play it here, another group comes along, wants to play it there. So maybe you really only want to run 1 or 2 adventures, and those are kind of your specialty. And whenever a group comes along and wants to play them, you run it, you know it well, and you kind of know the different ways it can go. And that's great too. So if you're interested in running an adventure or 2 in Twilight Tavern, please let us know, and we'd be happy to try to get in contact with you and make that happen. All right, so we're going to go ahead and kind of draw this video to a close. I've kind of already rambled too much. This is going to be just our first video on kind of explaining what this project is. I know a lot of you who are going to be seeing this probably already know or have heard something about it. Hopefully this gives you a better idea. I'll be making some more videos in between when this is released and our kickoff event, so keep an eye out for those. And we will be opening the Discord hopefully this weekend, which will be, I believe, the first few days of February 2024. So keep an eye out for more information, more videos. Hopefully the Discord and this video answer most of your questions. We'll be releasing all kinds of, probably an FAQ after we see maybe what we didn't explain so well. So keep an eye out for that. And just thank you for watching if you've made it all the way to the end of this. I'm not a YouTuber. I don't really make videos, so kind of making this up as I go along, but just a last kind of pitch. If you are looking for a fun hobby to get into, if this is something new to you, or maybe you used to play or kind of play, it has been a very rewarding part of my life and been a very rewarding way to spend time with my friends. And I cannot wait to see where this goes. And they're the people who are creating this with me, my good friends Thomas and my brother Bob and Lucas, and even my old roommate Barrett. If you're watching this, hopefully you have my phone number in your phone. But that being said, we're going to put just a lot of effort into this because we really, really want to see it happen. We really want to make it succeed. And we're looking to create a community. So anybody who wants to be part of this can help make it happen, can help make it better, can help make it just bigger. And not bigger in the sense of trying to make it 100 people or whatever, but bigger in just a bigger part of our world. And so thank you for watching, and I will stop rambling, and hopefully I will see you, whoever you are, a traveler or maybe even a weaver, on March 2nd for our kickoff event. Or if it's beyond March 2nd when you're watching this, hopefully I see you at a game or event very soon. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.